Hey beautiful souls, welcome back to Finding with Jessie, the life coach. So I hope everybody's having a great first week of the new year, and if you're not, we're going to be talking about ways of how to get there. So today we're going to be talking about the concept of leveling up. We hear it all the time, level up, or I'm leveling up. But what does it truly mean, right? So when I think of leveling up, what I think of is a game, right? And if you really think about it, life is just a game, you know? We have to treat it like a game, right? Every stage, every season of our life is just a new level. Every year is a new level, right? So it's like we go up and up and up. If you really think about it, we even go up in numbers, right? We just finished 2020 and the next year is what? 2021. New level. So in every new level, it requires a new version of ourselves. And that's the way you have to think of it. And that's the way you have to think of leveling up, right? So if you think about a board game, like I said before, or a game just in general, any type of video game, right? When you go from level to level, it always requires what? A new version of yourself, a more expansive version of yourself, a more knowledgeable version of yourself, right? If you think about any type of video games, usually when you get to the next level, the level usually gets harder. And you have to be faster. You gotta be smarter. You gotta be wiser, right? You gotta have more resources. Usually, like in games, you gotta collect, more things. And that's the principle you gotta apply to life when you think of leveling up, right? So how do we level up in life? Like, we get the point, right? We have to do better. It almost requires a better version of ourselves. That's what we're saying without saying it, right? But how do we get to the next level if we are still the same person, right? If we still have the same resources, if we still are living in the same atmosphere, if we're still thinking the same way, how do we level up? Well, we don't. That's why in life it requires to have a very versatile way of thinking. You can't see things so black and white. You have to be able to see things in color. You have to be able to read between the lines. You have to be able to see things from like a broader perspective. And you have to be able to bring in new energy and new change within your life in order to level up. So I'm going to be sharing some tips on how you can level up and do it for yourself. So the first thing with leveling up is you need to start analyzing where you're at, right? So it's going to be different for everybody because everybody's journey is different and everybody wants to expand in different ways. Everybody wants to grow in different ways. Everybody wants to get leveled up or level up to a different version of themselves. But where I'm at and where you might be at might be two different places, right? It depends on our level of growth. But even though everybody's life path and everybody's journey and where they're at right now at this moment in life is different, the principles are all the same. So I'm going to show you how to apply the principles and the mindset and what categories you want to start looking at and evaluating and analyzing so you can start leveling up. So when it comes to leveling up, my rule of thumb is we need to look at 4 different areas, right? The areas I like to concentrate on is mind, body, soul, and security. So these are the 4 key areas we usually want to expand in, right? And these are the 4 areas that keep us balanced, right? Those are the 4 key groups that we want to maintain a balanced state so we are growing and getting to the next level and we are equipped to handle the next level, right? So with the first key area, which is your mind, how do we start leveling up in that area? Well, the first thing we're going to do is you are going to commit to one continuous area of mental stimulation. So one area we always want to expand on is our mental capacities. So that's why we're going to think of one key thing that we can do continuously to bring in mental stimulation. And that could be anything. So that could be reading a book, right? When you think about it, you read a book, you gain some knowledge. That's a mental stimulation. So mental stimulation could be brought in by any type of category. It could be, a course that you invest in, right? Like let's say you're already in school or you're already, involved in something that you want to learn more about. Then guess what? How do you level up in that area since you're already doing it? Well, you go to the next stage, right? So it's like you're taking a course, you want to learn more about it, go learn more about it, sign up for another course, sign up for the next phase of that, right? So another tip that you can actually apply for mental stimulation is committing to one continuous form of self-growth. Now there's many things that could bring us self-growth. So you got to figure out what's that for you. whatever you feel that brings you growth within yourself and actually gets you closer to your higher self and put you in alignment, that's going to be something that you want to focus on. If you're already on that path, you're already on that journey, you're already focusing on your self-growth, you want to bring more of it, either expand on whatever category you're doing, or think of ways that you could bring more of that in your life. So I'm going to give you an example. So self-growth could be anything. Self-growth could be reflection. Self-growth could be, learning about your emotions. Self-growth, anything that helps you learn more about yourself, right? That's the category of self-growth. So you just analyze, think about your life. Are you bringing in any type of growth within that area, within that category? If the answer is no, then you want to start. If the answer is yes, look at it and figure out how can you bring it to the next level. So let's talk about the next category. The next category is going to be body. So in regards to body, you want to commit to at least one continuous thing that brings in physical activity, right? If we learn anything from the last year, physical activity is so important, and you can bring that in many different ways. Like I said, you have to see what works for you and where you're at. And a great way you can do that is just by simply, implementing daily walks. That is a physical activity, right? You're not a walker. You drive everywhere, you commute everywhere, you get on buses, you get on trains, you get in your car. You're not much of a walker, right? Well, that's a great way, implementing that is a great way to level up within your physical activity, right? Because last year's been a little bit crazy and this year we're still on restrictions. You could do that in any way. Don't ever feel limited. That's the thing. People think, oh, everything's closed, I'm limited. No, you could do it right in your home, right? You could take a walk right in your neighborhood. You don't have to be at a gym to get physical activity. You could get physical activity in any way. You could do push-ups and sit-ups at your house. You could get something as simple as buying a jump rope and start jump roping every day, doing some jumping jacks, doing yoga, doing some stretches. The second tip in this category is committing to at least one continuous form of body health. Now, what is body health? Body health could be anything. Body health could be drinking water if you don't drink water. Body health could be drinking more water if you already drink water, right? So remember, it depends on where you're at. It could be anything in regards to body health. If you don't take vitamins, maybe looking into that. Right? If you already take vitamins, maybe, reanalyzing those vitamins and seeing what works for you. Like this was a year that vitamin C was, you couldn't even get it. You couldn't get vitamin C, you couldn't get zinc and things like that. Why? Because they promote a healthy immune system. So these are things that a lot of people didn't know. They, discovered it in the year of 2020 because it became so amplified because of COVID, right? So these are things that you could really look into. Like most people probably just buy vitamins and don't think much of it, or buy vitamins and don't realize that the manufacturer, the manufacturer that is connected to where it's made, how it's made, what's going into it, there is a difference, from manufacturer to manufacturer. So that's something you could look into if you never realized that, doing research on that. Maybe you take vitamins, but you didn't realize how much goes into, the vitamin intake that you're putting in your body. Or different forms of, vitamins, right? You don't always have to take a pill to get, a good form of nutrients in your body. It could be something as, getting smoothies and creating that for yourself. So whatever it means for you, body health could be anything. It could be the food that you're consuming, what you're making for yourself, how you're treating your body, whatever it is for you. But that's a good place to start when you're talking about your body. Really analyzing your body health, where you're at, and how to level up, how you get to the next level. How do you make it? How do you master it? How do you get to that point that you're like, we're good, So my next category is soul, right? Feeding our soul. So in this section, we're gonna commit to one form of continuous spiritual practices. Spiritual practices could be anything. It's anything that puts you into alignment. It's anything that makes you feel balanced. It's anything that brings your soul to peace and be ease and calm. So spiritual practice could be anything. It could be as simple as evaluating the people that you consume in your life, right? Evaluating relationships and connections and, seeing if they're still healthy for you. If the people, in your circle, in your life align with where you're trying to go, or they're blocking, or they're an asset, or they're a liability. It could be anything. A lot of people do that, but they do it, usually when something big happens, something erupts, something, some drama kind of heads off with a certain specific individual. But, you don't have to wait for certain things like that to actually conspire to really take inventory of, the people that you keep in your life. So that might be something great for you to start leveling up in your life, especially if you're a person who's always involved in circles that are, you know, filled with drama or chaos. So they're like a chaotic environment, or people arguing, or you feel off center and you feel not calm, or whatever it may be. Like if you're one of those people, this is definitely a tip for you. You know, you want to start creating a spiritual practice that you start, you know, evaluating, you know, maybe like every month, take an evaluation, sit down with yourself and think about, you know, your relationships and, you know, where you're at with certain people, and say, hey, is this something I want to continue? Is this something that's beneficial for me? Is this something that's bringing me peace and balance? If it's not, then you know what to do. So that could be a great tip for people. But spiritual practices could be anything. It could be anything. It could be as simple as meditation, right? Creating, you know, a meditation schedule for yourself where you sit with yourself in silence. You just breathe in and out, and that has a lot of benefits, you know, not only to your soul but just in your life in general, right? It quiets your mind, it unblocks you, it frees you up to really, you know, think and see clearly, to really be able to hear your intuition. A lot of times we're searching for answers, not realizing that the answers are within. But the thing is that it's so loud around us. There's so much chaos and drama, and we're so busy, and we're running from this to that and that to this, and we're so bogged down by our own emotions that we cannot hear the next, like, where we're supposed to be going, right? The next thing that we need to do. So when you start creating a meditation of, you know, creating a spiritual practice of continuously meditating, you start becoming a different person. All that loudness and noise is gonna twinkle down, right? So you might be a person that does it already, but you don't do it enough. So you want to create that for yourself. You want to create something that's going to be continuous in your life, and that's how you start leveling up, right? Because it starts getting real dangerous when you're a person that could be by yourself. It gets real dangerous when you're a person that can actually follow your intuition. It becomes real dangerous when you start seeing clearly. You take those rose-colored glasses off, and you take all these illusions, and reality sets in. It starts becoming really dangerous. For who? For everybody you're around. Because once your intuition is on point, be careful. People need to really be careful with you, because you become on a whole nother level. You level up. You actually glow up because you start seeing things clearly, right? So that's a great one. If you don't practice meditation and you don't realize the power that's behind it, that's a great one to start implementing in your life to start leveling up. My next tip for this category is to start committing to one continuous self-care practice. Now, this is one that a lot of people don't do. Even when they do self-care, it's not continuous. They don't create a habit out of it. So this is a great one for people to start leveling up. When you start caring for yourself and giving back to yourself, you start creating one of those dangerous categories like we just talked about. But not only that, but you create so much balance within yourself and within your life, right? You start realizing that you are numero uno, which yes, you are, and that you do come first, and you have to take care of yourself. Once again, this year that just passed has actually amplified a lot of that. We have to be able to take care of, our mental health. We have to be able to take care of our mental body. We have to be able to, take care of our spaces within our life. So self-care is a big one that you want to start implementing if you haven't done so, to start leveling up. You become a very dangerous person when you don't need anyone for anything and you can give it to yourself. How is that? Well, think about it. When you become that person that you don't have to rely on anyone to give you anything, you don't rely on anyone for your happiness, and you're good, you're taking care of yourself, guess what? You're not attached anymore to fear. You're not attached anymore to the need of anyone or anybody doing anything for you, right? And you get more in alignment and more attached to your desire of choosing clearly what you want and you allow in your life, because it is a clear choice. You don't need it. If you welcome it in, it's because you want it. It's because you are not attached to a certain outcome. You're not attached to a certain expectation. You're just like, I could take it or leave it. So that is a great way to level up. Start caring for yourself and start giving back to yourself. And you can do this in so many different ways. I have a whole section on my YouTube channel dedicated to self-care. There's a whole playlist, so check it out. You could do little things like spiritual baths for yourself. You could do, self-care just by taking yourself out to eat, eating well, whatever it is for you. There's so many different ways that you can self-care for yourself, right? But like I said, once you do it for yourself, you start becoming very dangerous because you start not needing people, you start only allowing people and things and circumstances and atmospheres that you only want. You could take things or leave it in your life, and that's the best way to level up. Let's talk about security. Now, this is a big one because we need to feel secure in our life. So 2 big areas I would say to focus on if you've never done it, or you're like, I don't know how to level up, I don't know, what security means for me. Well, a big one is financial security. So start committing this year to at least one form of continuous financial security. Anything that's able to bring you financial security is where you want to put your focus in to start leveling up. So that could be anything, right? It might just be that you're already there. You had a career that you love and you want to take it to the next level. Well, start putting your energy into that and think about, where you're at. Analyze it, where you're at, where you want to be, your past efforts, and that will start creating, just by analyzing it, just by looking at it and seeing where you're at, where you want to go, and your past efforts is going to start creating a plan for how to get to the next level, how to amplify your financial security, right? If the past year taught us anything, is that having multiple streams of income is a great place to start. So if you never focus on this area and you don't know how to level up, that could be a great way to start. Start turning your passions into something that actually can bring you in financial security. Why not? If you're already doing that, level up of how you can take your passion to the next, level, your business to the next level, right? So it depends on whatever works for you. It might be that, you need to start saving more money to bring in more financial security. It might be that, you need to up your 401k. It might be that you need to start, looking at investments, how to invest your money to make it work for you. So it's whatever brings in financial security. Like I said, it's going to be different for anybody, but those are great, some great tips to look at. Another tip in this category of where to start with security is to start looking at your home. So what you're going to do, you're going to commit to at least one continuous practice to bring in security into your home, right? Like I said, the year that just passed gave a big spotlight in our homes. We had to kind of be stuck in our homes, right? That's the way it felt, like we were stuck there. So you can really think about this year, how can we level that up? Like, do you feel comfortable in your home? Do you feel like it's a place of peace and serenity and calmness? If it's not, think of ways of how you can level that up and make it feel like that place where you feel nice and secure and you feel, nurtured from the outside world. Maybe, you live in an apartment and you're thinking of, home ownership, and you're like, well, I want to do that. Well, start looking at it, start looking into it, start thinking of how you can level up. Look at your finances, look at your past efforts, think of ways of saving money, and think of how you can get to that goal. So whatever home security means to you, whatever it means to you, it's going to mean and resonate differently for everybody. Like I said, everybody's on a different scale, everybody's on a different level, everybody's on a different journey. So whatever home security means to you. So guys, that's how you level up. What you're going to do first is analyze where you are at in life. Where you are at, right? What do you want to expand on? What do you want to grow? Where do you want to get to the next level, right? After you start thinking about that, you want to think about what resources you have, right? Where are you? Where are you? What resources do you have? Like in a game, like, you need to get to the next level. You might need to collect a certain amount of weapons, or you might need to collect a certain amount of fruit, or whatever it may be to get you to the next phase so you can have enough endurance to make it to the level beyond that. So that's how you got to think of life. What are your resources that you have in the category that you have at the moment, right? Look at it. Analyze it from top to bottom and say, okay, this is where I'm at and this is where I need to go. And so like it creates like a map, almost like a roadmap of, okay, how do I get from A to Z, right? What are the steps I need to take? So what you've been doing in retrospect is that you're looking at your past efforts. Look at your past efforts. What have you done in past years to get you to the point that you're in now? What has worked? What didn't work? What do you want to continue? What do you not want to continue? Look at that. Analyze it. Analyze your life. Analyze what area you're in and how you need to get to the next level. And that's how you level up. That's how you make the best version of you and continue to do that. You can't do it once and just be like, good, I'm good. I'm good, I'm leveled up. No, it's a practice. You need to create habits and patterns out of leveling up and growth. You need to be committed to it, right? So that's why in each area we start with commit, and not only commit, but the key word here is continuously. It's not something that you're gonna do once, right? You could change the way you're doing it, but don't change the category, right? Don't change the category in which you're moving forward. And so guys, those are my tips for how to level up, especially in this new year, right? We have had a lot of lessons in the last year that we just went through, and they're still going on, they're not gone, right? But this is a good place to start getting you into alignment, to start getting you into a place that you feel happy to be in, that you feel like you're growing, you're expanding, right? You're seeing new things, you're feeling new things, you feel alive, right? When you start leveling up, that's how you feel. You feel alive, you feel powerful, you feel like, I got this. And you know what? I'm going to continue to do this, and I'm going to continue to move forward, and I'm going to continue to keep on flying higher and going to the next level and going to the next level, right? But first, you need to start with some practices, some commitments, and continuously to do it so you can get to the best version of you. And so guys, I will see you in my next one. Bye. Love and light.